if you can punch a dragon with a stone fist, you can have a neurodivergent person and disabled characters in your mediums. Oh, it's pretty! It is so pretty! I love it! Yay!
My name is Bloodthread Shears. I am also known in the dance world as Oriana Amal.
Oh, what am I doing? Oh, what am I doing? Hello, everyone. Good afternoon, merry time zone, and welcome to my stream. I'm Bloodthread Shears, Shears for short, and welcome to part 3 of the Knitting Basics 101 series. Today, I'm going to show how to do increases and decreases, and what those little abbreviations mean when you finally take the jump to learn how to read from a pattern. So, let me just take a sip of my tea, because I was just looking for a very basic pattern that I have on hand that can be easily used for you to better your skills. Delicious. Alright, so don't really have much in the way of announcements. Community board remains the same. In regards to the Sophie dress, I'm working on the collar. I have it pinned up just to do mocking up on the shape. And I have to pull out my sewing machine this week and hem the skirt. So not much in the way of announcements for today, which is nice. It's a good change of pace. And it gives me time to find out where on earth I can find a small pattern. Let's see. Don't mind me, I just want to make sure that I have a nice pattern to work with. Okay, so I think this might work. Add that to the library and download the PDF. Just like so. Okay. Let's see what we have. Knit, purl, Ktog, yarn over, and bind off. Alright, this is a perfect pattern, and I will link this into chat just a moment. Let's see, share, copy, and paste. That is the washcloth I will be referencing, albeit a little modified, just so I have what I have on here ready to roll. So let me print this out really quick. I want to see how many... Okay, the instructions are very easy. And let me print this out. Yes, I know you are low on ink. You better print this time. So, anyways, I hope everyone is having a lovely time zone. So, I'm gonna just throw this right on over and I can show you how to increase or decrease for your project. Okay, so I'm gonna just adjust my camera. There we go. So, as I was getting online, I casted on 20 stitches and did 3 rows already. So, to review, this is garter stitch. Garter stitch can refer to a knit or a purl row that is the same stitch consistently. Stockinette is a little different. One row can be knit, the next can be purled, where one side will look smooth and the back side will look bumpy. So while I'm waiting for the struggle of the printer, I hope those who have been knitting along enjoy themselves. And the pattern that I put into the chat is a free pattern, but I highly encourage you to support the designer or any designer up on Ravelry. They put in a lot of work and a lot of time to make these beautiful things, so it doesn't hurt, as always, to throw a coin their way if you like their things. And something is going wrong. There is no paper. Oh, oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Stand by. Huh. Oops. I shall reuse whatever paper I have. I am a pro streamer. Okay. And for the sake... Alright, so cast on 4 stitches, knit 4 stitches. Ah, I see what they are doing. Interesting. And the interesting thing about this pattern is it mentions continental and English knitting, basically where your yarn is held. So this is English. This, I assume, would be continental. Bear in mind, I learned without ever knowing terms until I started actually taking lessons. And there are many different ways of knitting. There's Tunisian knitting with a hook. There is certain Mediterranean styles of knitting where the needles are giant and you literally have to put them under your arm and then knit away. Lots of different ways to do this. So, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Alright, cool. So I'm going to knit 5. Knit 5 stitches to show you what a yarn over is. 4 and 5. So, if you remember from part 1, I showed you how to move the yarn in between, like so. And I'll do that again. You're basically going in between and around. In between and around. And one more time. You're taking the yarn and going around this needle. Like so. Now the difference is, instead of doing a purl stitch, you're going to do a knit stitch. So to review, knit stitch goes in from behind, purl stitch goes in front. So again, from behind is a knit, from the front is a purl. So to do a yarn over, you're going to go from behind, knit as normal, and transfer the stitch to the right needle. And you're going to notice a little bit on stitch definition, a stitch that is already made right there. And you can tell because with each stitch there's a little bump. A yarn over will not show that bump. Captions, I said bump, not thump. I know I have an accent. Alright, so that's a yarn over. So again, I'm going to tink back and show one more time. So from where it is at a knit stitch, you're going to go in between, like so, and knit as normal. And again, when you go to knit, make sure you go from behind the stitch, wrap around, pull off, and that's a yarn over. And then we're going to do another one. So wrap around, knit as normal, and there you go. Now the purpose for a yarn over is essentially to increase or to do something very lacy. I have my gloves, they're over there. I'll get them in just a moment. But you can also use a yarn over for buttonholes when you're knitting something. There are many different ways of doing this. So we have from I went 5 in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. And I'm going to knit as normal. One, 2, 3, 5. From here, we're going to do another yarn over. And again, you're going to go in between, like so. So this is your right hand needle. You want to wrap around, like so. One more time. Like that. And then you're going to knit as normal. So go to the back of the stitch, wrap around, drag off, and make sure it goes on to the right hand stitch, the needle in your right hand. And we're going to do another yarn over. 1, knit as normal, and then I will knit all the way to the bottom, to the end, excuse me. So just from that, we added 4 stitches, and you'll see in a moment what that will look like. for this row, I'm just going to knit straight across just to show you what a yarn over looks like when it's fully knit up. And if you're ever familiar with like those nice pretty sweaters, like fisherman sweaters, those are very beautiful and they have wonderful details. Or if you're familiar with knitted lace, that uses a lot of yarn overs, increases, and decreases. So, and a yarn over is just one way of doing it. And you can also do a yarn over once, twice, even 3 times for a larger hole in your lace. But getting back to basics, I'm just speeding through just so I can show everyone what it will look like. I'm making sure that I have it nice and neat. So, oh, okay. Park my needle down here. So as you can see, it creates a little bit of a lace effect. The 2 holes make the 1 stitch stand out. Not only that, it adds 4 more stitches. So initially we had 20 stitches, so 24 stitches now. But say you want to actually go back to the 20 stitches. What do? Well, as the title in my stream suggests, there are different ways to do a decrease. There is a knit 2 together, or Ktog, which is usually spelled Ktog, or K2OG. It depends on the writing in the pattern, but you also have a slip, slip, knit, SSK. So what's the difference? Well, it's a good question. I'll show you. So again, we're going to knit 5 stitch just before the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So always be sure to do a quick stitch count. So excuse me for 1 second. 1, 2, Yep, 24. All right, so from here, what I'm going to do is 2 stitches, and then just before the 2 stitches that I did on the middle stitch, knit 2 more, go for 4. So knit 2 together is literally that. You're doing a knit stitch, but with 2 stitches combined together. So as if you were doing a knit stitch like that, you're gonna go behind the 2nd stitch, go all the way through, and knit as normal. Again, you're gonna go behind the stitch to the stitch behind, wiggle it through, and make sure that your needle goes through both stitches, or else you're gonna have a drop stitch. Wrap around, and again, go in through the back on both stitches, wrap around, and transfer to the right needle. From there, we've deducted 2 stitches. It is now down to 23. No, 22. I can math. But at the same time, if you want to maintain the lovely little lace detail that you are doing, what you're going to do is another yarn over, like so. Knit again. And yarn over. So knit two together is basically a right leaning stitch, and for slip slip knit you're going to slip 2 stitches as you were to knit, 1, 2, take your left needle, go through the back like so, again, you're going to slip as if you were knitting it onto your right needle. With the left needle, you're going to go through the back like so. Instead of going through like here, go through the back, hold, take your yarn, wrap around as if to knit, drag it over, and you now have 20 stitches now. So again, what's the difference between knit 2 together and slip slip knit? The difference is the direction that they are leaning, and those can be used both as a way to decrease and also for design elements. I'm certain I have my gloves somewhere in this office. I don't feel like digging it up just yet. I'll do it on the break. But again, I'm going to knit all the way to where the 2 stitches before the yarn over, and I'll show again what that'll look like. And oftentimes you will see a bit of a difference depending on what stitch you're using. Either or are great if you have casted on too many stitches and you just are doing all garter stitch and you just want to like get back into your normal amount of stitches for your pattern or your project. So I need this stitch. So again, a knit stitch is just the one. A Ktog would be the next stitch over and going in from behind with 2 stitches, wrap around as if to knit, and transfer to the right needle. And we're going to do a yarn over. And then knit as normal. Another yarn over. And slip, slip, knit. So we're going to slip 2 stitches onto the right needle, through the back with your left needle, bring it through, make sure the left needle is on top and the right needle is on the bottom, wrap around as if to knit, and transfer to the right needle. From there, I will knit to the end, and I will make sure to, yes, can I help you? Go lie down, Mama. So I'm going to knit the next row, and what this does is just regulates everything into the pattern, or in this case, because I am literally improvising this, and if it actually turns out good, I actually may put this on Ravelry. Alright, so... And while I do this, I hope everyone's having a lovely hump day. And if not, come enjoy the music, enjoy the clinking of the needles. And if anyone is ever interested in learning to knit, I do offer private lessons, either in person or over Discord, Zoom, or Google Chat. Lessons will be $50 for 2 classes, where I offer basically what I'm showing now and supplementary materials in case if you get stuck on your own. And I also give homework. So if you're interested in learning how to knit and always wanted to find time to do so, come DM me, and you can find me at bloodthreadshears@gmail.com. I now have an official email for the stream. So if you're interested in business inquiries, wanting to learn how to knit, or for commissions, you can go to that email. All right, so as you can see, we have a little lattice work going on. And this is actually a type of design that you can do. So, as you can see, you have the holes here. You can see through, and you're creating lace work. You can do this with any kind of weight yarn, from cobweb all the way up to super chunky. While the lace weight or fingering may look will look a little bit more delicate, you can do lace work with worsted weight yarn. I've done it before. I have my shawl that is currently in my car, and I did that with a ton of lace. And considering that you can use the very simple increases and decreases to create different types of designs, such as like the lattice work, you can make it look like feathers, leaves, any kind of thing. Whatever kind your imagination and technical limitations that you can find, you're able to do it. And you can also use those increases and decreases to create scalloped lace. It's basically like the up and down. And you can do that. You know what? Let me get the gloves. Oh! Today has been... Oh boy. Today has been the day of technical difficulties. Where is... I could have sworn it was here. Aha! Here we go. All right. So, a good example are these gloves that I've been working on and trying to fix because the fingertips kind of got messed up. So a good example is this. This is going to be scalloped lace where when pinned up and doing blocking, which is something that I will do. There we go. Which is something that I will cover next week. And as you can see, this is a lovely bit of lace work, and the design is called Farinelli by Isolde Teague. You can find her on Ravelry, and the pattern is for sale. I highly recommend this, especially when you're ready to go a little higher in skill, such as knitting in the round and using smaller needles. For students that are starting out, I don't recommend this unless you want a challenge. Do remember I've been working on these for quite some time, and I have them in hibernation for a good reason. But as you can see, what I want to illustrate though is how the increases and decreases look. You have your yarn overs, you have your Ktog, your SSK, and what you see here is a design element. That's what they can look like when you apply it. And if you are like me, and you kind of mess up on things, you can actually use a Ktog or a SSK to reduce the amount of stitches, because if you're doing all garter, no one's going to be noticing except for you and anybody you tell. So, yeah. Delicious. But yeah, I actually really like how this looks. But I do think it's time to apply this where you're doing stockinette stitch. And a reminder that stockinette stitch is basically what happens when you do knit one row, purl one row. So what I'm going to do is I will do my borders, and again for knit two together, go through the back and knit as normal. Make sure you transfer it onto the right needle when it's done. And if you mess up, you can go back into those stitches like nothing ever happened. Slip slip knit, you have to be a little bit more mindful when you go to put it back on the stitch, because when you slip it off, you're twisting the stitch and it'll have a different look, but it may not be the one you intend. So let's do that. So again, go through the back, wrap around, drag and transfer onto the right needle. From here, yarn over, you wrap around the right needle, knit your stitch, and done. And again, wrap around. So say for example, you do a slip slip knit, but you forget something. What do? You slip it back onto the stitch the same way, but mirrored. Because when you take it off, the front of the stitch becomes the back of the stitch, and vice versa. So bring that through, wrap around, and there. So, okay, you messed up and you did it in the wrong place. What do? Well, for one, don't panic. Take a deep breath. You can cuss out your project and your forgetfulness, because trust me, I've done it multiple times. I will continue to do so. What you're going to do is this. Right here are the two stitches. You're going to go through, like so. Drag out the active line. Oh no. See? This is why we do our testing. Okay. Something happened. Oh no. Oh, hold on. Hi Panther, how are you? Oh no. I did a oopsie. I did do an oopsie. Okay. Doing okay. Just got home from work. Well, I hope the work was good. All right. So, here's a good thing to learn when you screw up. First and foremost, do not panic. You're going to take back or carefully transfer your stitches on the bottom row back, and then find out where the hell you went wrong. Always remember, mistakes happen. We are human. It's gonna happen. And if you drop a stitch, don't worry about it. That's why I recommended having a crochet hook on hand. Or, as I will show you in just a moment, exactly what went wrong. So, what I am doing is tinking back, Tinking, or ripping back, because you are ribbing this your stitch work back like a ribbit. Okay. First and foremost, never panic. There we go. Is a drop stitch very frustrating? Yes, it is. And I found you. Mwahaha. All right. So, let's see. So what I'm doing right now is just keeping a close eye on my work. And then once I clear it, I just knit back and then restart that row. Can I help you, Mama? All right, all right. There we go, and it looks, see? It's fixed. I know, we fixed it. Hi, baby. All right, so it is very close to top of the hour. This one needs to go outside. So around here, I highly encourage folks to take care of themselves however they see fit. Whether it is whether it is to get up and stretch, walk around, having water, food, whatever beverage you like, taking your medication, did you take your meds today, giving your furry, scaly, or feathered friends some scritches and love, however you see fit. Be sure to take care of yourselves, and I'll be right back. Hello everyone, I'm back. And enjoy your Lurk, Panther. Also, if you are not following Panther, go do so. Panther does wonderful things, and it's good quality people. I highly recommend them. Alright, so I'm going to put on my compression glove for the right hand. I have been doing a lot of sewing recently, so it has been a little bit of a trial. Alright, so as a recap, I showed yarn over, knit two together or Ktog, slip slip knit or SSK. I also showed you a design idea that looks like a lattice, like that. So going from there, we're gonna go make sure that everything looks good. Okay. And in the case of this, I'm actually going to pull out some stitch markers. I don't think that I will need them now, but it's good to have these on hand because they mark your progress, and the ones that look like safety pins, like these, are great in case if you dropped a stitch, you don't have the time to go back to it, but you also don't want it to drop any further. These are great. And as I tell my students, use a lifeline, which is a contrasting color of thread or yarn. That way it can be a bit of a lifesaver in case if you mess up. I know I should practice what I preach more often because I have stories, so many, of me messing up. Especially with lace, because that's a wonderful way of showing hubris. Anyways, so I'm going to go back into this. So the stitches that will be worked on here are mid stitch, purl stitch, yarn over, knit two together, and slip slip knit. So again, go from behind as if you were doing a regular knit stitch, but make sure you have two stitches here. Wrap around as to knit, and then transfer to the right needle. For the yarn over, wrap around the right needle, like so. Going to knit the middle, do another yarn over, and another slip slip knit. And remember, you want to go through, after you slip your stitches, onto the right needle. You're going to take the left point, go through on the back, through, make sure that the left needle is on top and the right needle is on the bottom. Wrap around, knit as normal, and there you go. Now we're going to do the beginning of a stockinette stitch all the way to the next decrease. So like we've been doing before, you're going to wrap around, but you're not going to knit. You're going to purl. So you go through the front, wrap around on the top needle, and transfer to the right. So we're going to do that a couple of times. And make sure you stretch out and check where you are in the pattern. And if you forget, that is totally okay. You are just learning. It is good to make mistakes because you learn from them. So, say for example, this is actually a good time to show what a purl two together looks like.
Hey, don't scratch that.
Okay. So, instead of a knit two together, like you did from the back, you're going to go through the front on 2 stitches. It takes a little finessing, but you're able to get it through. So, as if you were going to purl for the one, a little trick is to hold down, but not fully pull on the 2 stitches. Go through, like so. Wrap around on the topmost needle, which is the right, and purl stitch as normal. So we did that. And okay, so active line is towards the torso. Towards the torso. Oh boy. If any mods are in chat, can we put a counter on how many times I mangle words? Because towards the torso is going to be the thing today. So, anyways, since this is towards the torso, you can actually knit as normal, and it will create a yarn over for you. So I'm going to yarn over again and do a slip, slip, knit. So you're going to slip the 2 stitches onto the right needle, using the left point, go through where the front part is towards the part where it's near the point, knit as normal, and transfer onto the right. We're going to knit the last 3 stitches. Turn this around, and I'm going to do a regular knit stitch all the way through. So now we are incorporating stockinette stitch into this as well. And as you see that it's not super hard. And hi Lex, are you sounding off? Lexi, come here. Come here. Come here, baby. I know, you're being a very good watchdog. Are you being a good guard dog? Good girl. Go get to your treats. So I'm just knitting a little quicker. I do encourage my students to start slow and pay attention to their rhythm and to what they are stitching. Eventually it'll get to a point where you don't think about it, and I was at a point where I could walk around campus when I was at college knitting, and I knew where I was going. I only crashed into a door once. So if you were familiar with Disney's Beauty and the Beast and Belle walking through town just reading a book and knowing exactly when somebody was going to be dumping their chamber pot, because that's what it was, just being like, doop, and still read and walk through town. Yeah, that was me with knitting. So we now have a very nice so as you can see, we have a lovely little border and some stockinette stitch, as well as the lattice work, which makes a very beautiful lace. This is very basic lace, but beautiful nonetheless. And my nose is extremely itchy. So I think I will do this, I guess. I'd say I'd make this into a very pretty washcloth or coaster. It's wool, so it's heat resistant. So let me just do a quick little stitch row count. So let's go from here. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so 8 rows. Now, normally I have my row counter on hand. I have no idea where it went. I think it grew legs again. So if you are trying to keep count on your rows and your stitches, a great way to do that is either through a row counter that is a physical one, or a digital row counter that you can get on your phone or on your tablet or wherever. It helps to keep count, that way you know where you are. And even if you don't, what you can do is what I was doing. Go into the garter stitch area and count, like stretch this out. You're going to see the rows right there. So a little closer up, as you can see. And if you were doing all stockinette, it's right there, like literally right there. So 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. And 4 rows before starting stockinette. So we are going to make note. I'm actually going to make note of this. So I'm taking a coloring page. Yeah. That is not my pencil. So 4 garter rows. So yeah, I will be like referencing my stream later to write down all of my notes, because this is actually turning into a very nice pattern, and I think I might turn this into a sampler and release it on Ravelry. All right. But yeah, if anyone has any questions, please feel free to ask, because I highly enjoy doing this. And let's get that Ktog. And here I swore to not start a new project, and now I have ideas for a design. This is my life. But yeah, I think like the biggest thing is just like being able to feel comfortable enough with the tools that you have and practicing, like, and making the time to practice. And it's the same with any kind of craft. And the more that you practice, the better you're going to get at it. And at first, you will make mistakes. You will have a little panic. You will drop a stitch. I hope you never have to, but if it does happen, know that it is not the end of the world. It is while it is incredibly frustrating, it can be fixable in most situations. And also know that there may be times where you have to walk away from a project, either through injury, because as you can tell, I'm prone to repetitive movement injury. I have like messed up my shoulder once before doing too many things, and to this day it still feels kind of tight. But I've also had to walk away from projects that were too frustrating for me, and I kept messing up, and I was getting more and more frustrated and more annoyed and wondering, why is this not working? And then taking time off from it just so I could clear my head. I did a pattern called Icarus by Miriam Felton. Miriam Felton makes beautiful shawl patterns. They are absolutely beautiful. And I wanted to try one. And that was Icarus. So that was kind of my white whale. And then I tried it and I kept messing up the lace section, which was near the end. I had to rip out the lace section twice, with beads and all. So it was a 2-year project, and I actually had to walk away for a while, just for the sake of my mental health. And I am glad that I did, because when I finally finished it, I was very happy. There are also projects that are either in what's called hibernation or completely frogged. Basically, you rib it out, you rip out all the stitches and just use the yarn for something else. I've done that. I've also done what's called steeking, which is basically cutting into your yarn. And there's a sock pattern where you can use what's called a afterthought heel. You knit a tube sock and then you cut into the area where the heel and the toe are going to be. It requires you cutting into the stitches, picking up the stitches, and then knitting a heel and a toe into it. It was terrifying, but I did it. And my next white whale project is going to be a top-down raglan hoodie. Now, what does that mean? So, this is a bit more, I won't say advanced, but it's a little bit more jargon than what beginners are used to. So, for example, when knitting a sweater or knitting a pair of socks, there are 2 ways to do it. When you're knitting in the round, basically knitting it round and round and round. So these were knit in the round. I use double pointed needles, but when I started, I used a cable needle. So Sweaters can be done in one piece, going from the bottom up, or the top from the neck all the way down. So this one design that I had wanted to try out, it was a friend's design, which is a very pretty one. I'm not sure if she's still active as a designer, but I highly recommend her. Her work is amazing, as is my friend Muted Elegance. He's known on his stuff is known on Ravelry. So I am very hype to try and go back to those patterns and finishing them. And initially, the hoodie was meant to be a little bit on the bigger side because I like my hoodies to be big. I like them to be baggy. And I also wanted to add cat ears to the hood. Because me. But yeah, I wanted something really nice. I had no idea what I was doing, even with the help from the designer herself. And then I messed up, and I was just like, crap. So I had to put that in hibernation, and I had to walk away from it for a bit. That was a few years ago, so I'm seriously considering, once all of the projects that I have currently on the needles, not including this, that are done, I'm going to go back and start over. And I may end up just purchasing the pattern again in case if there are any new revisions. Oh, I almost did a thing. So as you noticed, I almost forgot to do a slip slip knit. Do keep an eye on what you're doing, but know that errors happen. There we go. All right, so to show you what this is looking like, let me actually turn this light on. There we go. So as you can see, the pattern that's emerging looks very nice. Is this gonna... There we go. So as you can see, the garter stitch here and here create a lovely little border. The stockinette brings out the contrast, and especially for the lace right here. Hi, Mama. Are you still hungry? Are you hungry? All right. So again, I'm going to take a quick break and feed this little hungry pupper, and I'll be right back. right. Welcome back, everyone. So I think that I'm genuinely enjoying this very improvised sampler. Purely because of the fact that it actually looks really good, and I may actually have a call on Twitter to see if somebody would want to do a test knit of this. I'm very excited about that. Like, being able to have the confidence to improvise something right on the spot. Be like, okay, I'm gonna do this. Now, bear in mind, I've been doing this for years. That kind of skill takes time. And there are people who start out just barely doing like knit stitch, like doing the giant blankets with giant needles. And then they're like, but wait, what if I did this? What if I did that? And a couple people that I do know, who I am friends with, have had their patterns published. One of them in Vogue Knitting. So yeah, there's that. It's not always typical. It's very hard, but it does happen. So just to check in with chat, how is everyone doing? And do you have any questions about like the stitches that I have demonstrated for today? And if anyone also has questions about supplies, the basic stitches, or just trying to figure out where to go from here, feel free to put those questions into chat and I'll happily field them as like a little bit of a Q&A for now. Oh wait, did I not do... Oh no, I did. Oh wait, did I... Oh, I did a thing. Okay, I did a thing. Alright, good to know. Alright. Alright. As you can see, I too make mistakes. And this is where I normally will say, I swear I'm smart. Okay. So... Okay. There we go. The day has been saved. And this is turning out to be a fairly charming pattern. I know I said it before, but I'm very impressed. So this is what it looks like. And I think I shall continue this until I get about, I want to say 26 rows. So let me check real quick. 1, 2, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So 12 rows so far. I shall make a note of that. Excuse me. And what I am doing is making my mark. That way I know exactly where I am. That way, in case if something happens, knocking on wood, I don't have to worry about pulling back the yarn too much. So right now is where I normally will field questions. And if anyone ever has any questions or wants to commission me, and I have a little promo for that. Hold on one sec. Ta-da! I'm opening up 10 I'm opening up 10 slots for commissions such as plushies, hats, mitts, drink cozies. And if you're interested in owning something like that, and that's something that you're interested in, all the information is on here, and you can also find it on Twitter. I'll be retweeting that on the regular, and that way it allows me to do what's called stash busting, because I have a lot of yarn over the years, and I need to get rid of it, or at least use it. So this is a good way to do it, and it helps me pay bills. And again, I also am going to be opening up private lessons over Discord, Zoom, or whatever voice call you have. I really want to show people that it doesn't take a lot to learn how to knit. Crafting should not be a high bar of entry. The level of entry should not be high, and that you can make wonderful things. And also, if you are neurodivergent, it is a wonderful stim. So it is multiple benefits. It helps with your cognition. It helps keep you on your toes. And around my circles, whenever you finish a project, you bring forth a bottle of booze, if that is your inclination. In my case, I don't really drink much, so I go get chocolate. So that's me. So yeah, and as you can see, those two photos are actually my photos of my own work. So yeah, I am really proud of that. So if that is something that you are interested in, you can contact me at bloodthreadshears@gmail.com. And the last bit of promos is I'm gonna be in a Masks one-shot over on Greater Restorations channel with Happy Capster, That Nerd Tori, Lonzo Gonzo, and this is all being GM'd by the Great Rafiki. You can type in !masks for the tweet, and we'll be airing it over on Greater Restorations channel for June 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I can remember things off the top of my head. Go me. And also, if you like what you see here and you want to help support, more things like this, let me actually put in. You can go over to my Ko-Fi, and I'm happy to say that, inspired by Zerjester's thread on Twitter, I am opening up a $1 tier called Enjoy the Beat. It is a tier where if folks just want to help support keep the lights on, or just help fund future projects, but don't want any of the rewards, and just want to support the cause, you can. You will still get access to posts such as the Sophie Dress project. I'm keeping that open to monthly and one-time supporters for a reason. And I think that's everything. Yeah, I think that's everything, at least as far as I can remember. So I just need another drink. Okay. So I am gonna call it a wee bit early. Just so I can rest. I need a nap because I was pet sitting this morning, and I do need to eat. I need to be better about eating and treating myself good. So, oop, that's the wrong button. Let me see who we can raid. And I know exactly who we're gonna raid. We're gonna go over to Camsy's channel. Camsy, pronounced Camsy. You can call her K or your Empress if you're feeling fancy. Pronouns are she, her. She's currently celebrating Africa Day by playing games and demos by African studios. And she is a regular of the channel, fellow thirst connoisseur, and good and great quality people. I highly recommend her. So we're gonna go raid Camsy. Hang on. Yeah. Alright, so that is the raid call. Please feel free to put whatever heart emotes you like in front of it. And remember the raid rules. When we go over there, you are to listen to the streamer and the mods. Your behavior is a reflection of the love, music, and appreciation I bring over to Camsy's community. I will be back on Saturday, either doing a little bit more sewing or photo editing, depending on what's going on this weekend. So I do want to thank everybody for coming by and enjoying this, and I will be back for the final part next week, which will cover blocking, pinning, and reading patterns. So I really appreciate people showing up for this. It means a lot to me because I'm very passionate about this. So all of that in mind, I'm gonna head out, but remember, hey, you're doing good. Don't worry about it. All right, now go make noise for Camsy, and I will see you around. Bye bye.